Hello, Soul Fam. I'm just popping in here with a transmission for the collective that's coming through very strongly, and I just felt the urge to hit record, so I'm not exactly sure what's going to come out. It kind of unfolds organically, but there's just so much fun playing and creating in the unknown. So if this resonates with you or landed here on your feed, or you randomly stumbled on this, or you've been following me for a while and maybe attracted to the title, I'm not even sure what it's going to be yet, but I know that and I trust that it's going to call in the souls that are meant to hear this, meant to receive this. It is so fun to play and create in the unknown. Like I've been just kind of, you get to create whatever you want. Like when you realize that the simulation that you're living in is very fluid, nothing is fixed, you get to create whatever you want, but you have to choose it. I cannot stress this enough. You have to choose it. That's the message that's coming through, at least one of them right now. And I can attest to this as well, because like ever since probably mid 2025, I've been rapidly manifesting time, like calling in with uncanny accuracy what I'm focused on, and the simulation reflects it back very, very quickly. And there's multiple timelines that would be very prosperous, very abundant, very rooted in leadership and like all the things, right? But it's like I get to play and create, just like you get to play and create. You don't have to settle for any single one timeline just because that's what's manifesting. So this message is going to be a little nuanced, I can tell, but it's for the souls that are rapidly manifesting, and you are recognizing that the simulation is reflecting back to you very quickly because you have closed the apparent gap. It's not, there is no gap. You are one with all of life and all of creation, because you are anchored in divine union and one with all that is. And this is a direct experience. It's not something that can be conceptually understood. You are rapidly manifesting. I'm speaking to a high priestess that is, you are a powerful effing soul. You are a channel. You are an alchemist. You are here to manipulate energy and bend it to the sacred vision that is in your heart. And you get to choose the timeline that you want to experience. There are limitless options available to you that you can go down. Which one do you choose, right? Like there are multiple realities that will be able to really support what it is you're here to do, on even like on a higher mission level. But it's like, how do you want to play? What do you want to create? You are not supposed to do any one thing. You get to choose and play and create in the unknown. The only thing that's required is that you authentically show up for the mission, the vision, the sacred vision in your heart. You actually have to be a cooperative component of the unfolding, right? So when I set out on, for many of you that are new here, my name is Sarah Rose. Welcome to Divine Femme TV. I set out on an adventure in nature and sacred luxury with the divine. And I didn't know where I was going or how long I'd be gone. I set out for a nomadic road trip with my 2 fur babies for an undefined amount of time to a location and destination unknown. And that landed me from North Scottsdale, Arizona, where I have been for 27 years, creating a life that started to feel very confined and very restricted, even though there were so many beautiful things about it. I'm very grateful for it. Just like everyone that's stepping into the new earth timeline, there was a lot that was feeling misaligned. There was a lot that was falling away. There was a lot that was crumbling. There was a lot that was feeling constricted and restricted, even though there were so many beautiful aspects of it. And it was a life that a previous version would have really, really loved. But it was no longer, it was growing tight for what my soul was ready to experience. My soul was ready to expand beyond what I have known and venture into the unknown, a life of adventure, a life of living wildly free and kind of like, you know, like being a nomad without having to actually have like one spot, like one destined, like one specific routine, like one specific place to go. Like, even though I was very grateful for life in general, I would never trade it for the world, right? It's an amazing life. And there was a lot that was happening behind the scenes, you know, the death and rebirth, the trials and tribulations, the transformation, the alchemy for 18 years. Deep, dark transformation. When I say dark, it's because it traveled to the depths of the soul, the existential crisis, the dissolving of the sense of me, all of that. Has led to this right now, where when everything falls away and you're no longer attached to the same things that you used to crave for validation, you create spaciousness for the soul, the expression of the one that is the you know, an aspect of this multidimensional being that you are experiencing right now. There is room for the soul to play, and the soul wants to play in the unknown. The soul wants to create from the unknown, and just it's been so wild just watching things unfold. Like, I set out on an adventure for, you know, adventure in nature and sacred luxury, and I was very particular with what I was available for and like what the vision was, and it wasn't me figuring it out, it was me tapping into my heart and allowing that to speak. And everything that made my heart sing and my soul sing was like a fuck yes, and everything else was like a no. And it all unfolded in a way that I couldn't have planned. And now I'm in the midst of this, and right, and it's like, I don't know where I'll be next. I don't know where I'll go next. I don't know how long I'll be here in South Lake Tahoe. Oh yeah, so it led me from North Scottsdale to Prescott for a couple of months, which is amazing, which I've only visited once, and I didn't realize it was such a hidden gem. And it was like so beautiful to be in the pines, like up in more northern Arizona, which is totally different from like the desert landscape I was used to. And it was so gorgeous, and the weather was perfect, and which is exactly what my soul was craving. And then it was craving water and being more immersed in nature. And so South Lake Tahoe was the next destination, and things just unfolded like as I walked it. I didn't even know where I was going after. There was no preset plan. There are ideas dropping in now of where I might go next, and you know, possibly be back in Scottsdale or you know, area around like the holidays, because I have family there, and that would be fun. And I'm not a big fan of the snow. That's just a preference over here. I like to have a healthy outdoor lifestyle, and what better place to have that than possibly Arizona in the winter. So maybe I'll be back there with the beautiful, gorgeous sunsets and the desert luxury and things like that I love, and the pools and the palm trees and all of that. So we'll see. But that's the fun of it. We'll see. There's no, I have to figure this out now. I have to figure this out. I have to plan it 5 moves ahead. It feels good to contemplate that. It feels good to play with that idea. It also feels good to play with the idea that I spend the fall near the Sequoia National Park and Kings National Park, and spend maybe September or October there for the fall season, because that sounds very beautiful, and I love being immersed in nature. Just right now, this is where it feels like I'm in a tree house. Just show you for a second. And I'm getting ready to head out with Hazel and Ruby and hit some trails and see some water. I think we're gonna do one of the less populated trails today. But so what's coming through very clearly is you don't have to know. Like, this is the one thing that kept, there's a few things coming up. This is one thing that waiting for the full picture isn't going to happen. Like, you're here to play and create in the 5D, which means you're here to play and create in the unknown. Your soul is calling you to a next step. If you've landed here, your soul is calling you to a next step. That may be very privy to you, right? You may be very consciously aware of that. The only thing that's required is that you choose it, you claim it, and then you take whatever next sacred action step is aligned. That's it. this is a trust fall with the divine, a trust fall with life, a trust fall like into the unknown. The need for certainty is the mind grasping out of fear, because the soul is here to play and create and doesn't need certainty. Why would you need certainty if you are one with all of life and you truly know that you are one with all of life and that you are literally infinite intelligence playing this game in the simulation? What part of you wants to sit there and plan it all out and figure out everything in advance and before you make a move? Like procrastination, hesitation, stalling, like avoidance, like all of these things are egoic, tendencies that keep you stuck in your old looping pattern, in the old paradigm, in the old identity. All of the attachments to what you think that you need in order to feel safe and secure and happy and abundant and all of the things. It has been so freeing to see how little, like as I'm traveling, as a more nomadic style traveling and all of that, that like I don't even know what I have in storage. I mean, there are some things I really love in storage that I'm sure I will go back and get one day. And if I ever settle down in a place, there's a cute little things there that I know I would want in my environment, that are, very cool and help add to the environment, because I'm a Libra. I love like a beautiful environment. But it's so freeing to travel light. It's so freeing and you don't have to be like some nomadic traveler to understand the concept of what I'm sharing here. The attachments and everything that you think you need to be happy is actually much less than what you actually, what your soul is craving. There's what I'm saying? Like the ego grasps the things that it needs when it's craving validation or out of a fear of not feeling safe or secure and things like that. And I get it, but when you realize that like less is more, and that like your happiness and your joy and the love and everything actually lives within you, and you don't need to seek it outside of yourself in the form of a relationship, a certain career path, a certain level of like external material success, and you get to play and create from this sense of wholeness and from this sense of like the spaciousness of that which you are. Paradoxically, it allows more to flow in than when the egoic mind is running the show and like grasping and clinging to things and attaching to things, and it's very tight and it's very heavy and it's very fear-based. When you actually surrender and let go of what you think that you need, or the plan that you think is your best plan, or how you think things should unfold, or how you think you should show up, or what you think you need, like all of it, like when you surrender and you release attachment to all of those concepts, paradoxically, life gets to meet you now at the level at the level of fullness that you are. And that's when things will flow in very easily and effortlessly, because you're just flowing with life. You are life, and now you're flowing with life instead of fighting it, instead of like swimming upstream, so to speak, and grasping for things or attaching to things out of fear, out of a sense of lack or a sense of needing validation. Then you just get to live in the flow of life, and that's when things magically begin to like literally this path is, as you walk it, it unfolds beneath your feet. Think of that for a second. It unfolds beneath your feet as you walk it. The more you sit there and try to plan 5 moves ahead how you think things should be, you're operating from the mental body, and you're operating from egoic consciousness. You're operating from the mind that loves to try to predict everything in order for there to be a false sense of safety. The uncertainty is very scary to the egoic mind, but when you think of it, there is no certainty in life. Certainty is a mirage. There is no certainty. How often is that proven to everyone on planet Earth, right? Like Certainty is a mirage. You could plan your whole life away and have like the perfect plan, where you're going to go to school, what kind of job you're going to get, who you're going to marry, how many kids you're going to have, the kind of environment you want to live in, and all those things. And that's not how life works. Like the plan on, like life unfolds not according to the plan of the egoic mind. I think there's that one saying that's coming to mind, like you make plans and God laughs, right? It's like that's the separate sense of self trying to control this thing, right? And it's like, pretend your life is a movie for a second. Like you don't want to sit down and already know how the movie goes, or it would be boring. That's kind of how your soul is, right? Your soul is like, your soul is like along for the ride, along for the adventure, along for the, the surprises and the pivots and the plot twists and the unknown, and wants to play and create in the unknown. The soul doesn't need this false sense of certainty that so many humans grasp onto and literally allow it to form their entire life, bracing against fear, against the potential of lack, against the potential of losing something, against the potential, whether that's a career, opportunities, money, or a partner, or this or that. I mean, in some of the consulting work that I've done over the years, whether that be through coaching, consulting, or assisting other like 7-figure founders with the back end of their business, specifically female founders that are here to make a big impact in the world and helping them with their sales process. It's amazing to see how many, and I'm just speaking to women right now because that's who I serve, and that's what I gravitate to, will put their entire life on hold, will not take action, will sit in their very tight, uncomfortable comfort zone because the egoic mind is clinging to a false sense of certainty, a false sense of safety, or afraid of the unknown. Living in the 5D is the reverse of all of that. It's a complete 180 shift of how you were used to living when you were living primarily as a separate self-identity. You embrace the uncertainty here. In fact, you thrive on it. In fact, you don't want to know how it unfolds. It's like I said, watching a movie, and it's boring if you already know how it unfolds. Your soul is here for the wild ride, the adventure, the plot twist, and everything in between, right? The false sense of safety, the false sense of security, the false sense of uncertainty is seen through. It's seen through here. You are guided and protected as soon as you choose this path, but you have to choose it. You can't stay tethered to the old identity that is still operating from fear-based consciousness and making decisions and choices that are tied to, trying to predict the future and trying to project into the future when there is no future. It's all here and it's all now. Right here, right now is where you are. It'll always be right here, right now. Do you really want to postpone fully stepping into your highest timeline by constantly projecting and trying to into the future and trying to predict the future? Or do you just want to live? Because here's a little, spoiler alert, in order for you to fully live, fully alive this experience, you have to be here and now. You cannot live fully alive when you're living from prediction and projection into the future and trying to figure everything out. That is living from trying to brace against some future fear of loss, is it not? That's not aliveness. People live their whole life that way, trying to brace against something that they fear, that some future projection, and they literally forego the here and now, the aliveness that's here now, the joy, the playfulness, the ability to create here and now the life that they truly want, that you truly want to live, that truly lights you up. Because they spend their whole life mitigating fear, negotiating with this false sense of security, safety, and false sense of certainty, trying to figure this whole game out when you're not here to figure this whole game out. You're here to live it. You're here to express. You're here to fully feel it. You're here to fully Be here now, alive in the moment, choosing and discerning what feels alive to you now. Now, every soul is not here to experience 5D, playing and creating in the 5D, living their new earth timeline, creating their heaven on earth, being a channel between heaven and earth and creating. Not every soul is here to experience this, but you are, or you wouldn't be tuning into this. You are, or this wouldn't be resonating. This is why you can't put any weight on what anybody else's opinions are about how you're here to live, play, create, express, show up, do or not do. You're not here to play by anybody else's rules or expectations, and you're definitely not here to play by your old conditioning and your old patterns. All of that is old news. If you've landed here, that is old news. You're stepping in to your most wildly authentic, abundant timeline. Accept that. Choose that for yourself. You actually have to choose it. You actually have to choose it and then prove it by taking the actions that are aligned with what your soul knows. Your soul already knows. Your heart whispers to you. The divine whispers to you through your heart chakra, through your heart space, through your knowing, through your intuition, which is literally interpreting data from the field. That's your intuition. That's your knowing. It's beyond concept. It's beyond mental projection. It's beyond your belief patterns of what you think is possible. It's prior to all that. It's not even beyond it. It's like you're prior to all that. Your knowing is prior to all that, is it not? Your intuition is prior to all of that. Your intuition and your knowing are closer than close. There's no other way to say it. It is you. You are the knowing. You are the knowing. And then everything you layer on top of that, the belief systems, the conditionings, the doubts, the fears, the societal expectations, the expectations of others, other people's opinions, all of that is layered on top of what you already know. All of that is layered on top of it. Your job is to get back to the source of your knowing, back to the source of your intuition, back to the source of what feels true and alive in your body, what feels true and alive for you now, here and now. And many of you, if you're resonating with this, are not lit up by your current experience. In fact, it feels very constricting, very, very tight, very dense, very heavy, very limited. You're here to play and create in a whole new way. You're not here to recreate the past. You're here to play and create in a whole new way, living in the unknown, free falling with the divine, walking in trust and faith, trusting the unseen, realizing that everything with the naked human eye that you see is a simulation that is a reflection of what you used to believe is true, and that it is fluid, it is not fixed. This is why I'm being called to circle back to what I mentioned a little earlier in this video, which is the multiple timelines. I think I mentioned in this video, I have no clue. But either way, maybe I'm confusing it with a different message. I don't know. The timelines can shift very, very fast based on what you're choosing. And there are infinite number of timelines that could support right now your highest divine reality, but there's some that are going to ring more true for you than others, and you don't have to settle for anything that doesn't feel like a fuck yes for you. So you get to choose which timeline you want. You get to declare it with conviction and know that it is done. It is finished. But you have to show up for it. You have to be willing to break free from the old conditioning, the old patterns in the mind that tells you you have to figure everything out in order for you to be safe. That you have to plan everything 5 moves ahead, that you have to know the future. There is no future. Everything that keeps you projecting into the future, trying to predict the future, is looping you in the old identity. The mind is keeping you looping in the old identity. That is the mind that loves to project into the future or ruminate on past memory and fear moving forward because you feel like everything's just going to happen the same way it happened for you before. The past is over. It only plays relevance in your new earth reality if you continue like dragging it forward, right? Like you're on the cusp, you're on the edge. You can tip into your divine reality at any point when you choose it, but you can't bring that old identity with you. You can't bring the survival identity with you. You can't bring the identity that's tethered to the separate sense of self with you. You were prior to all of that. That was Hazel. I don't know if you can hear her. She's taking a snooze. Oh no, that was Ruby. So you have to show up. You have to show up authentically. You have to show up in your creative expression. You have to be honest. This is very similar to a transmission that I just put out a couple of days ago. So this message must be really, really potent for someone right now because it's very similar to the previous message. You can listen to that one too if this one is resonating. This is being recorded on the summer solstice. Not an accident. This is a very potent window for you right now if you've landed here. I'm going to upload this hopefully today. It might be tomorrow. I'm not sure because I'm going to go adventure outdoors. But this will be uploaded at some point here within the next 24 hours. So whenever you're listening to this is when it's meant for you, specifically at the time of this being recorded on the summer solstice. You're in the energy of this right now. It's very potent time right now for the collective, for you to step into your highest divine timeline. What you're focusing on now, what you're putting energy in now is going to amplify. That's the other message that's coming through. Let's not forget that this is the year of the fire horse, right? Like there was this still shedding that carried over from the first part of the year, from previous 2020, from all of the shedding of last year, the year of the snake. The fire horse year really just got started a few months ago. And this requires bold authenticity. Making choices that align with what allows you to feel free. That align with the freedom that you already are. It's not like you can run to another timeline because you're trying to chase a sense of freedom. This isn't running from anything. It's you're actually surrendering into it. Running from your old timeline will not work. There must be a surrendering for something into something deeper. Running from the old timeline or old circumstances or situations will just keep you looping in the old timeline because you're still giving it juice and saying it's real. You are the source of the simulation. So this isn't about chasing anything or seeking out anything in order to validate you or give you a false sense of safety. This is a surrendering into what your soul already knows to be true. And in that, in walking in faith and devotion to the unseen, to the knowing that you are, that speaks through you and speaks to you, and aligning with that, you are ultimately surrendering from identification with the mind as you drop into wholeness, aliveness, and presence here and now. It's only going to be here and now, though. It's not going to be in the mind. As long as the mind is continuing to project into the future and trying to predict how everything's going to turn out before you can take the next step, you're going to stay what appears to be stuck, looping in an old identity for as long as you continue to choose that. But ultimately, you get to choose right now. And at the energy right now, at the time of this recording, is super potent and powerful for you to do this. It has to be chosen here and now as the truth of who and what you are. not as a separate self that's trying to run from things in order to have carve out a better experience. This is a mistake that a lot of conscious creators make that keep them looping. You're still choosing and declaring and deciding from a place of trying and efforting and wanting and wishing, which is the essence of not having. You're still trying to create reality from the separate sense of self that's rooted in fear-based consciousness. And that will keep you looping. And the telltale signs this is happening is you're projecting into the future. You're trying to predict everything. You're seeking validation or proof outside of yourself, right? There's this false sense of safety, security, or certainty that you're clinging to. There's a lack of trust in yourself, in the divine, in the unfolding, in the unseen. It needs to reverse all of that. Also showing up in a way that doesn't feel authentic, and you can feel it in your body. You can feel it in your nervous system. You can feel that it's tight. You can feel that it's old. You can feel that it's like dead. It's like you're showing up in a way for life, or on YouTube, or in your relationships, or at work, or in your circles, or in your community, or whatever. You're showing up wearing a mask that does not feel authentic to you. You're showing up with a mask at all, right? Like, this is a removal of the mask altogether. And paradoxically, when you remove the mask altogether, which is another way to describe kind of the persona, when you realize you're not that, and you get to play whatever identity you want at that point, you can play. But when you are tethered to that identity, like Velcro, you have to wear that in order to feel like you have a false sense of safety or security in the world, and then you have to act from that identity. But you, my friend, are listening to this because you have experienced the truth of who and what you are. I'm not speaking to the little mind. I'm speaking to the essence of who and what you are. You are prior to all of that. Showing up inauthentically in any area of your life at this point is going to cause restriction. It's going to feel tight, and it's going to it's a big energy leak. I speak to, when I work with clients, we talk about energy leaks all the time, right? Like, you're not showing up in your sovereign divinity, your sovereign divine power, your empress energy, if you have a bunch of leaks. You're leaking your frequency. And therefore, you don't have the same level of magnetic power, effortless magnetic power, effortless abundance, effortless creation. When you're leaking your energy all over because you're still identified with a separate sense of self, making fear-based decisions, self-abandoning, self-sacrificing, compromising your values, living inauthentically, showing up inauthentically, creating inauthentically, you have a bunch of energy leaks. I was describing this to a friend here that I met just recently, like the metaphor of, just like as an example, like picturing like a garden hose. I don't know why it's coming up now. It came up then, so I guess I'll use it. It's kind of a good metaphor. I do use this with clients sometimes, but it's like, I have a few metaphors. So we'll see which one resonates with you the most. Let's see. You can let me know in the comments which one really resonates. It's kind of like if you've ever had a garden hose and you know that there's you can see that there's all these holes in it and the water spraying out everywhere. The hose is not going to be powerful because it's got all of these leaks. You have to actually plug the leaks, and then it's like that hose becomes alive. It's like got a life of its own and can start moving, right? But as long as it's got holes everywhere, it's not going to have that same level of power, right? So, the other metaphor that's coming up is this woman sitting on a boat with a bunch of holes in it, tiny holes and bigger holes, but holes nonetheless, in her boat. And she's just focusing on paling, taking a pail and getting the water out of the boat so she doesn't sink, right? Total survival identity. right? But ignoring the holes, ignoring the leaks altogether. And so what does that mean? It means it's nonstop paling. She's going to have to continuously, nonstop filling her bucket full of water to get the water out of the boat, to stay afloat. This represents like the survival identity and all the different leaks that are caused by fear-based consciousness and identifying the separate self, not fully trusting yourself, not following your intuition, not taking the sacred action you're being guided to take, negotiating with doubt and fear, not elevating your standards, settling for way less than what you know you deserve or feel that you want to, allow in your experience. These are all forms of energy leaks and lower energetic standards. And you actually have to plug those leaks. That's the only way around it. Or you're just constantly going to be in the very exhausting cycle of trying to, get to your that's like this metaphor, this picture that's coming up is like the separate sense of self trying to figure out how she can sail away into the sunset, into her beautiful new earth timeline. Well, guess what? She's not going to be able to. It's going to feel like an uphill battle. It's going to feel like a lot of, work. It's going to feel like a lot of effort, right? Because there's so many leaks in the boat. You have to plug the energetic leaks. And when you plug the energetic leaks, that's when you become fully, fully, fully magnetic into your power. When I work with women inside my programs, I focus on helping them plug the leaks at the source so that they can rise into their power, their divine, feminine, magnetic power. Everything else takes care of itself at that point. That's all. There's nothing else to do other than you fully be in your divinity, your sovereign divine expression. Your sovereign divine expression is not settling out of fear, is not compromising, is not people pleasing, is not giving your power away, is not hiding, is not dimming your light, is not negotiating with fear or doubt, is not, settling for less, is not justifying things that are not in alignment and sticking with them anyways, regardless, whatever that is. Your divine, sovereign, feminine power chooses and declares what she is available for. Not from a place of wanting, not from a place of chasing, not from a place of needing, not from a place of desperate pining for anything, from a place of knowing. From a place of knowing her power, and reality orchestrates around her. This is why, like, when one of my clients, she didn't do anything but get clear and sovereignly decide how something was going to play out for her. It had to do with her career. This is interesting. It had to do with her career, which was a lot of lack at the moment, and she had to get clear on a couple of things that I guided her to get clear on. And within like a week and a half, she showed up to the next call. And not only did she call in a $40,000 deal, but she also had her situationship of a relationship that's been happening like that for a couple of years commit. And she also called in soulmate clients out of the blue. And she also got studio space for her healing work gifted to her out of the blue. The $40,000 commission out of the blue through zero effort of her own. And it has happened to also be the easiest deal she's ever closed through zero effort of her own. All of this was because she got clear and she set a standard. And she didn't do it from fear, she did it from her power. So I think I'm going to leave it there because it's getting a little late and I want to get out of here before the sun sets. So I hope this message finds you well. Until next time, namaste.